Alright, so we're in the man cave here where we make our messes and play around. It's okay to get messy in here, and I want to show you I got in the mail. This is the MFJ 1890. And he sent me a receipt, MFJ catalog, directions. Now we're going to lay it all out and show you what comes in the box. Alright, a shout out to Spectrocom. Here's their contact information. Sorry if I'm shaking people. Alright, so big shout out, friendly service, same day shipping, receive my antenna the next day. He speaks English and French. Took time on the phone. Great guy to deal with. Look forward to dealing with him again very soon. So big shout out to Spectrocom. I can't express again. They're only 3 hours away from Ottawa, so shipping is really fast. There's no need to wait for people out by Toronto and stuff. These guys are really fast. So, what was in the box? So as you see, that is the boom. You can see the holes in it. And now I put a measuring tape here. So you can get an idea of the length. That's the 5-foot mark right here. The stuff in the back is just extra pipe I have. I'm going to try to lengthen it. As you know, this is a 10-meter antenna. I need it for 11. So we have the boom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pipes this length. 1, 2, 3 smaller pipes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this size. Bag of parts. Mon direction. The directions for those of you that don't understand my awesome French. Sticker to put on my nipples. There's a feed line. I believe these are ferrite choke. I'm not a big fan of this coax. Some kind of ferrite rods. There's insulator. Maybe they're just fiberglass, probably. And 4 of these bad boys to mount everything onto the mast, the boom, sorry. And they sent me MFJ's last year's catalog. Still a lot of good stuff in it though. You know, prices might be a little different, but still all MFJ stuff. Alright, so far, that's the MFJ 1890. Alright, so, just wanted to share this with you. Once you get your lock washers on and the bolts on, that bag isn't so intimidating. A lot less parts when you get together. Now, what I want to show you, double up on all the lock washers here. That's what they say in the directions. You see that? See how I doubled up on all the lock washers? So they definitely give you lots of lock washers. There's plenty. And again, once you start getting everything together, you know, these are pretty obvious. They're going to go in here. You know, most of these bolts right here can go in here. So, if that helps anybody. And don't intimidate you, man. When I first looked at the bag, I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, we banged the insulators into the 2 pipes. We got the clamp on the mast. We separated all the clamps. We put our bolts and our lock washers on. And the parts are slowly disappearing. Alright, I have to admit that was a pretty easy install. So this is the boom right here. As you can see, it's only like 5 feet long. These are my elements. This will be the driven element, as you see the connectors. Now, one tip I got, if you're too dumb to measure 3/4 of an inch for the spacing of the connectors for your feed line, 3/4 of an inch is exactly the same size as a strip of electrical tape. So if you put a strip of electrical tape, that's 3/4 of an inch. So you don't have to bother to measure. I don't know how many people will realize that, but electrical tape, 3/4 of an inch. There's the elements. There's two that's got to go together. Now when you put them together, that's what they make. You never notice how dirty your shack is until you start making videos. So as you see, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet long. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And this is 20 feet of coax. This is a 1-to-1 Bowen, means 50 ohms in, 50 ohms out. And what this does is it chokes off any RF coming back down the coax, the feed line, whatever you want to call it. So just in case you're wondering, I'm going on a horizontal beam to try not to cause TBI with power. So might as well do everything. Make the RF choke, and we put a little TBI low pass filter on there. Alright, so there she is, man. Homemade moxon antenna. She's up in the air. Okay, everybody, I've been shooting skip with a big hole 3 watts. Now this is what everybody wants to see. Channel 40. Forward. You ready for this? There's my reflective SWR on channel 40. Alrighty. We will go to channel 1. Oh. Bear with me. And we'll put it on reflect it forward. Key it up. We'll just bring it up over the line so nobody says I'm cheating. Zoom. Look at that. Alright, now we'll come up here. We'll go to the middle of the band. Channel 20. Again. We'll hit the forward. We're over the line. Ready? You ready? Look at that. This antenna tuned up beautifully. I am so happy. 234 convict on that homemade antenna in the capital city, Canada. 234 convict, capital city, Canada, leaning on this mail with a homemade antenna and a barefoot radio. Break, break, break.
Yeah, you man black. I think I gotta get that straight. I'm a little sore and really using other people. Maybe my medication. Then I had my doctor cut me back a little bit. I know. It's okay. I'm doing just fine. Hello around Canada. Hello around Canada on that barefoot radio. Hello around Canada, 2-Watt Daddy, New Orleans.
Hey, 2-Watt Daddy, New Orleans, man. You beat my receive up, man. Talk about sending my needle to the corner. They call me convict. And check yourself out on YouTube, man, under CB Moxon Antenna. I'm up here in capital city, Canada on a homemade antenna and a barefoot radio running that video gate. Break, break, break.
That was 2-Watt Daddy talking off a barefoot radio, too. I'm downtown New Orleans, down here in New Orleans at the Gulf of Mexico. And you're sounding good in Canada with that barefoot radio.
I tell you what, man, that barefoot radio sounded an awful choice, man. Hey, Daddy Barefoot. Oh my God, down around New Orleans, you said? You blowing smoke. You sent my needle to the corner like a bad red-headed stepchild. I tell you what, man. They do call me convict, Mr. 2 3/4, the bad ham. And I'm on that homemade CB Moxon antenna, running a big bad 3-watt radio.
Yeah, you're right. Take care, my friend. God bless you and take care. Bye-bye, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye down around New Orleans. Hey, Barefoot Daddy, man. Hey, Barefoot Daddy, 4 fingers and a thumb, God bless, and a Happy New Year, man. They do call me convict, waving 4 fingers and a thumb, leaning on this mail.
He's doing good down here too. Mother Nature's working good.
I tell you what, man, Mother Nature's working on Convict's side, man. Mother Nature's working with Convict, man. This big 3-watt realistic TRC and a homemade moxon antenna. Breaker, breaker. I don't believe he was down in New Orleans, man. There's no way a barefoot radio can shoot skip like this. There's just no way Convict's radio can shoot skip like this with 3 watts. I just don't believe it.
You got them 3 watts in New Orleans. 2 watt daddy. You got them 3 watts in New Orleans. Bye, my friend. 2 watt daddy said bye, bye, bye. Sounding good in New Orleans. 2 watt daddy gone.
Hey, 2 watt daddy, you look for yourself on YouTube now. Hey, 2 watt daddy, you look for yourself on YouTube, man. I'm going to put this video gate up there later tonight. It'll be up there under CB Moxon. And I'll put 2 watt daddy as a tag. Convict, 2 3/4, leaning on this male and that homemade antenna in the capital city, Canada. Just got down, don't you know?
Right back in the capital city of Canada, sounding good. You say you're going to put it on YouTube? You say you're going to put it on YouTube? Okay, my friends, thank you very much. 2016 to you. Ain't no doubt about it. Y'all have a great 2016. And you're listening to 2 watt daddy. Thank you for coming in my radio room and speaking, taking your time to talk to Mr. 2 watt daddy. Thank you very much. Hello, around Canada, 2 watt daddy. Say bye, 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 bye.
I tell you what, man, I ain't sending no man flowers, man. I said, I ain't sending 2 watt daddy, flower, man. I just got no goddamn choice but to talk to him. Hey, 2 watt daddy, you all up in my receive, man. Soul control. Wait till you see this on the gate on YouTube, man. I got no choice but to talk to you, cotton picker. You blowing smoke up here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. 2 3/4. Your friend first class worldwide, serving Eastern Ontario, Western Quebec, and Northern New York State. And I just leaned on your receive.
Thank you very much. And you blowing smoke in New Orleans. And you say I'm sounding good in Ontario, Canada. You say I'm sounding good over there. Put it on your letter, because you're blowing smoke in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Put it on your letter around Canada. 2 watt daddy, you say bye, bye. And put it on YouTube, 2 watt daddy gone. There we.
I tell you what, man. I'm even keying up with that old SWR meter, man. It's so flat, she ain't even moving, man. I just showing it so it shows it's a 10 watt meter, man. It's a 10 watt meter, man. Old Convict, man, working his homemade moxon antenna with a big bad 3 watts, man. And I'm on that TRC 465, man. And I got that 2 watt daddy all up in my receive. What am I going to do about that 2 watt daddy, man? He's all up in my receive in the cold country Canada. 2 3/4. They do call me the Convict, Mr. Bad Ham, and I'm leaning on this mail.
Bye, politics. Bye, politics. Bye, my friend. Bye, 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 my friend. Stay warm. 2 watt daddy, stay warm in Canada. Put it on your letter. 2 watt daddy, put it all on YouTube. Put it all on YouTube. 2 watt daddy, say bye-bye. God bless you. 2 watt daddy, God.
I tell you what, man, they call me Convict on the AM side, but they call me the Lone Wolf Ottawa. They call me the Lone Wolf Ottawa, not YouTube, man. Check out my channel, man. Hey, 2 watt daddy, they call me the Lone Wolf Ottawa, not YouTube, man. Check you out, man. I got to tag it, 2 watt daddy, CB Moxon antenna. I'll put that up on YouTube tonight, man. I tell you what, man, you sound pretty choice coming into Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, man. Soul control, man. Soul control. 234. One more time. They call me Convict, serving Eastern Ontario, Western Quebec, and Northern New York State. And we reading this mail.
Bye-bye, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, Ottawa, Canada. Bye-bye, Lone Wolf, Ottawa, Canada. You sounding good in New Orleans? Lone Wolf, Ottawa, Canada. 2 watt daddy, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much to take your time and come in my radio room to speak on 2 watt daddy. Thank you very much. See you on YouTube, 2 watt daddy, New Orleans, God.
And she's working really good, man. 3 watts. I'm talking all over the southern states. Getting skip coming in like crazy. She's only up about 21 feet, 22 feet. Yeah. The only antenna in my yard now. I took every antenna down. Back on a chicken band. That old 2 meters in the capital city, Canada. That's just no good, man. I had to get back on a real radio, shoot some skip.
Been a pleasure, man. 73 is 409 Texas Ultra. We're back quiet listening.
Hey, 409, you got a copy on Canada? Hey, 409, you got a copy on Canada? 234 convict on this homemade antenna, leaning on the mail. Break, break, break.
Hello, Canada. Hello, Canada. Southeast corner of Texas. Down here by the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Hello, Canada.
Oh, hello, Gulf of Mexico, down around Texas. Hey, Texas, down around Gulf of Mexico, man. You booming into Ottawa, Ontario. I said 409, you blowing smoke in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada on Convict's homemade antenna. They call me 234, and I'm leaning on this mail. Break, break.
Ontario, Canada, we heard some of that. We did. We heard some of that there, Ontario, Canada. But, man, I'm going to tell you, it's ferocious down here. Hey, somebody done started on my radio. I need to check the pasture, make sure all my cows are in it too. But, boy, it's noisy. It's noisy in Texas, no doubt about it. Canada, have a super family. I'll have you in a few minutes. Maybe conditions will change. I'll get my pipeline this way. 409 Texas Roper, southeast corner Texas, down here in a big thicket. We back quiet, Canada, after you.
They call me Convict, man. They call me Convict on this barefoot radio. Big old 3 watts on a homemade antenna. Check out that YouTube, man. Check out that YouTube for the moxon antenna. 234. They call me Convict up here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada on this barefoot radio and a homemade antenna waving at that 409.
Well, Convict, I got me one of them there too, Convict. Look here. Convict, I got me one of them homemade ground planes. I got a homemade ground plane. 102-inch whip with a homemade ground plane put on it, 12 foot off the air, Convict. And I'm fixing to holler at you on that thing right now, Convict. Just hold on.
I tell you what, man, old Convict gonna hold on and lean on this mail. Nothing I like more than a homemade antenna. Man, oh man, Mr. 409, he doesn't make Convict smile, man. You done make Convict smile. I worked so hard on this homemade moxon antenna. My barefoot radio is blowing smoke, man, with a big 3 watts. I tell you what, man, the bad ham, they call me. I cannot wait to hook up a box. 2 3/4, they do call me the Convict. Capital City, Canada, leaning on this mail. Break, break.
This Port Up, can you hear me over?
Where's 409 at, man? I thought you were going to get on that homemade ground plane. Where you at, man? Hey, 409, man, you dropped out of there a little bit. Hey, 409, I do hear that homemade antenna. I said I do hear that homemade antenna, Mr. 409. 409 on that homemade ground plane, man. You making a trip to Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I definitely heard that homemade antenna, man. 234, they call me Convict, Mr. Bad Ham, leaning on this mail. Hey, 409, why don't you get on YouTube and look up homemade CB antennas, man? Get on that old YouTube, look up homemade CB antennas, man. You're going to find yourself on YouTube. 234, they do call me Convict. Barefoot radio with a homemade antenna leaning on this mail.
Alright, Convict. Yeah, I get out here and I fiddle. I got that there YouTube too, and I look at it, but this is an old homemade antenna that my grandpa told me about before he passed away. And one day I was sitting out here thinking about my grandpa, and I made that damn homemade antenna he told me about. And it really works, and it works real good. Alright, Convict, have a super fine one. 409 Texas, back quiet.
I tell you what, man, I gotta get this up on YouTube. It's gonna be called the Moxon antenna. Moxon CB antenna, man. Maybe I'll put a tag in there, 409 homemade. You look on YouTube later tonight, man. You type in homemade CB antenna and Mr. 409. They call me the Lone Wolf Ottawa on that YouTube channel, man. I tell you what, man. God rest Mr. Grandpa. God rest Grandpa, man. I tell you what, he showed you something good because that homemade ground plane's blowing smoke in convicts Yakimo in the capital city, Canada.
Alright, convict. A lot of noise down here in Texas, between Texas and Canada. There's a lot of noise that way, but a convict have a supervisor. For southeast corner of Texas, down here a big thicket, way back quiet.
Roger on that big breaker 409 in the southeast corner of Texas. And Mother Nature, man. I tell you what, it's that time of the month, I guess, for Mother Nature. Mr. 409 blowing smoke in the capital city, Canada. 2 3/4 convict, they call me the bad ham. 3 watts on a homemade antenna and leaning on this mail. So there you go. MFJ 1890 moxon 10-meter antenna tuned for the CB. You know you want it. Alright, a shout out to Spectrocom. Here's their contact information.